So this is a fairly common issue, obviously especially as these cars start to get older now and fall into the hands of people like myself who like to fix them themselves. You might have a bit of a vibration drivetrain. Mine's become even more noticeable since tuneness went up and pushing 393 horsepower and 843 foot-pounds, no, newton meters for it. Yeah, the slight vibration, what feels like from the prop shaft, has become more evident. Now, I was kind of expecting that, to be honest, but these things happen. Now, pretty much whenever you look about online or you get any advice from anyone, it's always change the prop shaft because it's a bit of a hassle changing the bearing. Yeah, I guess that's one way of doing it. A decent prop shaft, I think, is about 350–400 pounds. Bearing is about 30 pounds, so there's a fair difference in them. Now, obviously, if the rest of my shaft is absolutely fine, I'm going to want to change the bearing. Yes, I'm a little bit tight. 2, I'm spending an awful lot of money on this thing currently in pieces as it is anyway. But I don't want to change the prop shaft every time a £30 part goes down. Especially not when I'm capable of doing all the work myself. Sorry. So, basically, if you're watching this video, it means we're successful and we've managed to change that bearing. If you're not, well, this will be in the bin right now, won't it? So I think we should crack on. I'm going to show you some footage now in a minute. I pre-recorded whilst doing other jobs, not intending to actually record this video. And then I'm going to finish off getting the prop shaft removed and work out if we can change the bearing. Now I know there's very little information about this online whatsoever. There's loads on the Discovery 3 for Sport, and the bearing on them looks really easy to change. But the prop shaft on this thing is a different design. So supposedly it's a bit of a faff. But if all these companies sell the bearing, it's so readily available, it must be a serviceable part. Else, why would so many people make it and sell it if you can't actually change it? So, let's give it a go. Now we have it. Exhaust gone, middle heat shield with his 8mm screws gone. I thought my prop centre bearing needed a bit of work, and I can see a rubber split. It's moving a fair bit there, so I need a new one of them. Joys. I've undone the E12 bolts for the prop, so that's now off. So I'm sure someone's been at this before because there's all these paint marks on this shaft, and this shaft doesn't actually look that old. Well, it's better condition than most of the car, so that's anything to go by. So next step, we have these couple 10mm holding this heat shield on here. Drop that heat shield and that'll give us access to the rest of the prop. To be fair, you probably could do it actually without dropping that heat shield, because we've got these E12s here to remove on that end, and then 213mm on the prop centre bearing. But I'm going to remove the heat shield because I want to also treat any more rust that I find, so we'll keep going. Right, so shaft's up in the vise now, not too bad to get off. This end, she's a bit stuck into the transmission flange. This end actually come off easy when it come to it, so yeah, I had to give it a few whacks with a hammer and chisel to free it up. Now, marks the shaft front and rear, only because I just noticed a story the other day of someone who had their shaft was on backwards. So although I've got all the videos to show where it should go, but yeah, still. So this, I would say that's knackered. Now this shaft, yeah, isn't that old? And a lot of people sort of rave about buying the GKN shafts as an aftermarket replacement, or whether they're OEM, I don't know. But this one here, I'm sure definitely one that says GKN. So it has been changed, or I doubt it's original. It's not done 200,000 miles this shaft, can't have done. But so unlike the Discoveries and that, these ones, they got a UJ in front of the centre bearing, not a CV joint. Now these are meant to be a pig to remove. Now I've never tried it, but what I can see here is what looks to be quite a smart design. So in here I've got a 17mm bolt that goes through and secures onto this part of the shaft here, and then there's a little like horseshoe kind of shaped clip which goes under the bolt. So all we have to do is slacken off that bolt, knock this clip out, and that should then allow us to knock the shaft off, in theory. Now everyone says how much of a pig it is, so I don't know, this doesn't look too bad so far, but we'll give it a go. So the shaft definitely isn't original, so it could be a lot easier than one that's been on the car for years. But obviously what we must do is this shaft must go back on the exact same splines. It's just given rule on a prop shaft, all that stuff, that they must marry up. Now I know there's only one UJ in this, the others are CV joints, so probably isn't quite as precious as something with two UJ joints where we need to be in phase. But no matter what, common practice is always to put it back the exact way it come out. So hence why I took the opportunity to use the slit in the rubber to run my steel rule through it twice to make 2 marks so I can't go too far wrong, so that when I realign it, it'll go back in as it was. So I'm going to try and do this now. Obviously there's very little room to better try and undo that bolt, but obviously the joys is we only have to undo it enough to free off this washer. So I do like that design, that's pretty smart and simple. So let's give it a go a minute and try and knock the shaft off, see what happens. Let's get a smidge more if we can. There we go. So that wasn't hard. Out of interest. Nah, so it's definitely... Right, okay, so we have to tap the shaft off now. See, if this UJ was out of the way, easy. Problem being that apparently these aren't serviceable. I don't know what the technical term is, but you can't really undo these and get back together without a lot of hassle. So, what's our next best solution here then? We can have a wedge link in there. Well, I've got nothing to lose against hitting the bearing anyway, so... And there we have it, a drive shaft in 2 parts. So I did do a couple of things to make life easier. I decided to cut the outer shell and that off of the bearing, just because it was in the way. Made it easier to tap, using this face to tap against it. And then I thought, to give me more access, I would cut the actual inner bearing off. Didn't need to be done, to be honest. I just done it anyway, because I could. And the only other thing I'd do is I'd put a bit of heat on it. Not much, kept it down to being here, tried to isolate it to mostly just this after shaft, because obviously you don't want to be putting a load of heat into your UJ. So, didn't want much heat in the UJ, so I kept it down here very carefully, because there's nothing down here that can get ruined other than the bearing, which you're replacing anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I've done that, bit of patience, used a bit of rust penetrant as well, and used the heat from the blowtorch to pull it through. Might not have been needed, but didn't go too badly. So just got to clean up the splines, order a new bearing, because I just had to wait to take it off to find out what size it was and confirm it is in fact a 30mm bearing on the 4.4 TDV8. Now supposedly all the petrols use a 30mm bearing, and so do all the vehicles after 2010. So sort of the 4.4 TDV8 and the 5-litre supercharged and whatnot. Possibly the last of the 3.6 TDV8s when they facelifted, maybe, not sure. But then the information goes a bit grey. So supposedly the TD6 used a 35mm one, and I'm not sure about the part in the middle there. But I've just confirmed mine is in fact a 30mm bearing. So what I need to now is put a bearing puller on that to get the last of the shell off, or I could just cut it, to be honest, cut that off and clean it up, not a problem at all. Either way. And I need to order up a new bearing, so I'll try and get one the best quality I can, and then we can fit it back on. Should be a nice simple task of it, and reassemble the shaft and done. I certainly didn't need to spend £400 on a new shaft, not when the UJ is really tight, no play in that. The CV joints seem absolutely fine. What's the point of spending 400 quid when I can spend 30 quid? and this is a GKN shaft anyway. No idea how many miles it's done, but you know, the bearing could go again in 10,000 miles, in which case I need to spend 400 quid on another shaft. Well, now when I grease this back up, put it back together properly, in the future if I need to change the bearing, it's going to be even easier. So yeah, all good fun. So we got the new bearing. This is a Terra Firma branded bearing. Supposedly I reckon they're better than the other ones. Only time will tell, I guess. So give it a go. And I got me some pullers. So it turns out my pullers are crap. They won't do it. This thing's seized on. I gave it some heat and it just won't budge without the pullers slipping. So I'm going to make a little incision in the bearing and then just crack it off ideally. If I turn the socket on. No. Right, so we're making a small incision in the bearing here. What I've managed to do is relieve tension off it. So now, it's free as a goose. There we go. So we can inspect the mating face here, which is fairly clean. I'll give it a quick clean up as well. I'll do just fine. Apply a smidge of grease to it because, well, it might well be me in the next time to remove it. Pretty sure the bearing went that way. So apply a bit of grease to the bearing. So now what you want is a socket which is deep enough to go over the shaft and push the bearing down, but also sits on the inner race of the bearing. Obviously you're only pushing on the seal or the outer race because you'll damage the bearing. So we're going to use that as a little press to put it on. So bearing greased up, shaft greased up, it goes to the sticky out bit is on the towards the UJ. Alright, and then what it'll need is a few gentle taps. Sure it goes on square. Right until it stops home. Just like that. Beautiful. So we will also grease the splines, because I might well be again the next person to touch that. So I don't want to get seized up again. I'll do that one. Now, that's my marking for where it needs to go. I'm going to line it up exactly how it come back out again. Like that. And then send it home. Beautiful. So it definitely makes it easier if you've undone the bolt enough. So punch that back down to home, and then it's a simple job of tightening it back up. So as for torque spec, not a clue, it might exist online, but I'm going to put it back as how I found it. So basically, one rotation of how much the span will move to lock it, and that was enough last time to unlock it and be loose. So it's now tight, plus now it's torqued. So it's a high tensile bolt. Can't actually go anywhere, to be honest. That's now our prop bearing changed. So a lot of people say don't do it. I say do it. What have you got to lose? You know, it's a 30 quid bearing versus a 400 quid shaft. My shaft's absolutely fine. It's just a rubber split. So, and now I've done it once. If for some reason this bearing isn't great, it's going to be quite an easy job to do it again, because it's already been apart now, greased back up, put together, so it will come apart nicely. Should do. Alright, so I'll get it back on the car now, once I've finished doing the million other things that need to go on there first, so might be a few days yet. And there we have it. One prop shaft, put back in. So, nice new centre bearing there. Beautiful. I'm happy with that, very happy with that. Now, a few things to make note of. Obviously, put the prop shaft back in the way it come out. That's really helpful. Once you've got your bolts sort of caught and lined up, make sure to give it a tap with a hammer and ensure it's seating properly. That's quite important, both front and rear. Obviously, it's probably tight to get out. Clean up the faces with a bit of sandpaper or a wire brush. There's no harm in applying a little bit of grease, to be fair, either. I didn't. Probably should have done, but oh well. So that's that. Yeah. And then one note, obviously, if you're doing this on a, well, any L322 other than the 4.4 TDB like I am, your bed, obviously, your gearbox will be in neutral from the start. But because this ZF 8HP is electronic, it's hard to get. Basically, the car likes to put it in park by itself. So I'm sure I did put it in neutral to remove it, but then I'm sure I re-energised the battery with something and that put it back in park and whatnot. So all you have to do is, I'm assuming there's a lever hidden inside which actually locks in, but this lever here, push that, and it releases the drive. Now, because it doesn't seem to lock on this end, that's not pushing it hard enough, I'm assuming it does lock inside from a lever. But if you just locked that across or held it, and you can spin the drive shaft like that. So, yeah, it's simple as that, really. Jobbed. And there it is. As simple as that. That went much better than I was expecting, to be honest, judging by what I heard on the internet. And obviously there is no information online about how to do the L322 prop shaft. I couldn't find any anyway. So, there it is. Not a hard job. I guess if yours was quite an old shaft and was mega seized, might be a pig, but mine in the end wasn't too bad. So providing you've got some basic tools, you should be able to do the job just fine. Now, as you may have sort of seen during the video, there's plenty of other videos being recorded currently on the L322. Major task, this is one of 5 new videos coming out within the next few weeks. So why not stick around? If you already follow the content, thank you for that. If you like the content, please drop the video a like, it really helps the channel. Drop me a comment, tell me what you think, tell me you think I'm stupid for changing the bearing, tell me you think it's a good idea. It's certainly a lot cheaper, and especially when the rest of the prop shaft is fine, I don't want to change the whole shaft for the sake of it, so yeah. Drop me a comment, obviously subscribe for plenty more if you've not already subscribed, and yeah, thank you for the support. I've been Jordan, with any luck, I'll see you again next time. Cheers!